So in yesterday's class, we were discussing about amoebic liver disease, and we had started cirrhosis. What can you tell me about amoebic liver abscess? Don't need to go into detail, but some basics. What is amoebic liver abscess? How is it caused? And what happens? What is amoebic liver abscess? क्या हुआ कल फिर नहीं पढ़े क्या? What is the cause of amoebic liver abscess? What are the pathological changes that occur in amoebic liver abscess? Okay, can you tell me about cirrhosis then if you don't remember amoebic liver abscess? What is cirrhosis?
Irreversible liver damage.
Mm, okay, irreversible liver damage. All right, so yesterday we discussed about alcoholic cirrhosis, right? What can you tell me about alcoholic cirrhosis?
Micronodal cirrhosis occurs.
Excuse me?
Micronodular
Okay, there will be
cirrhosis
micronodular cirrhosis. What is micronodular cirrhosis?
nodules are less than 3 mm in diameter.
Mm. Okay, what are the other changes that occur?
Liver, liver become large,
Mm.
fatty, and weight about 2 kg.
Okay, liver will become fatty and it will become quite large. There will be hepatomegaly. It weighs about 2 kgs in gross weight. All right. What about hepatic parenchyma and what about the lobules inside the liver? What will happen to them? Hmm. Okay. What about post necrotic cirrhosis?
Nodules are large,
Macronodular cirrhosis रहता है यहाँ पर.
virally hepatitis.
What is the most common cause of post necrotic cirrhosis, or what are the causes of post necrotic cirrhosis as such? See, these questions are for all of you. You do realize that, right?
Actual acute viral hepatitis, sir, most probably.
Mm. Okay. Any other causes? Other than hepatitis, what can cause post necrotic cirrhosis? Alcohol consumption will cause alcoholic cirrhosis better, not post necrotic cirrhosis. Other than viral hepatitis, what can cause post necrotic cirrhosis? There is drugs and chemical hepatotoxins like phosphorus, carbon tetrachloride, mushroom poisoning. Yesterday I told you about this. एक ही दिन हुआ. Other causes can be infections, especially parasitic infestation,
parasitic,
or else brucellosis,
metabolic.
metabolic disease, sometimes advanced alcoholic liver disease. So the patient already had alcoholic liver disease that is developing into post-necrotic cirrhosis. So it is not exactly caused by alcohol per se, but the patient already have alcoholic liver disease. There is a big difference between alcoholic liver disease and alcoholic cirrhosis. Some other day I'll explain what is ALD. There is a little difference between them. They're not exactly the same. Alcoholic liver disease, if it progresses unchecked, that can cause post-necrotic cirrhosis. Okay, what are the pathological changes that will occur in post-necrotic cirrhosis?
Liver becomes small,
Mm,
big nodules.
mm. Nodule size will vary. It can be sometimes big, sometimes small as well. It will vary between 3 mm to few centimeters. And other than that, what will happen to lobular architecture? What about the fibrous septa? Do you see necrosis in the liver? If you grossly look at the liver, what can you see in post-necrotic cirrhosis? Okay, there will be variable size. All right, variable size of nodules. I'm expecting variable size. बोला था. What will happen to the lobules inside the liver? They swell. Okay,
Structure change.
the structure changes and some of them will swell. You will find areas which are completely uninvolved, and you will find areas which are completely undergoing necrosis. All right. What will happen to fibrous septa that are present in between the nodules? Will they become thicker? Will they become thinner? What happens? And why is it occurring? Whatever change that occurs. Hmm. I can't help you if you're not reading. Okay, coming to biliary cirrhosis. All right. So there are other types of cirrhosis as well. Today we'll start off with the other ones. Biliary cirrhosis, it is essentially a chronic disorder. Okay. There will be chemical, there will be biochemical, clinical, as well as morphological changes that are occurring in liver, specifically due to long-standing cholestasis. What happens in biliary cirrhosis is that the patient will have cholestasis. Cholestasis is essentially stoppage and blockage of flow of bile. Essentially, that bile is collecting intrahepatically or extrahepatically, any of intrahepatic ducts or extrahepatic ducts. Kahin na kahin, this bile is not able to flow and it is getting stuck there. That is leading to cirrhosis. Now, based on where it is occurring, you can have two different types of biliary cirrhosis. There is primary biliary cirrhosis and secondary biliary cirrhosis. Primary biliary cirrhosis mainly occurs in middle-aged women. Okay, there is a little bit of familial incidence. What you see is that in primary biliary cirrhosis, IgM is very high, indicating immune disorder. Okay, elevated levels of immunoglobulin, specifically IgM, is seen. You will also see decreased number of T cells in these patients. Sometimes what will happen is T cells will start getting accumulated in the bile duct itself. So you will see fewer number of circulating T cells, as in T cells will decrease in circulation in blood, and T cells will start getting accumulated in the bile duct. Okay. Secondary biliary cirrhosis, on the other hand, is occurring because of prolonged obstruction of extrahepatic bile ducts. एक्स्ट्रा हेपेटिक बाइल डक्ट्स में अगर बहुत देर तक bile, if it gets stasis, if it if it becomes stagnant in the extrahepatic biliary passages for a long period of time, that will lead to secondary biliary cirrhosis. Now, if you look at the pathological changes that are occurring in both, initially what will happen is whether it be primary or secondary, जो भी type of biliary cirrhosis रहने दो, initially in both of them the liver will get enlarged. Okay, whether the patient is having primary biliary cirrhosis or secondary biliary cirrhosis, primary is because of intrahepatic duct blockage, secondary is because of extrahepatic duct blockage, bile duct blockage. In both of them, initially the liver will become big, it will become enlarged, it will appear greenish yellow in color, because as bile duct starts getting accumulated, bile will start spilling around. Okay, so inside the liver itself, in between the hepatocytes, over the hepatocytes, you will start seeing stains of bile, and that is what will give your liver a greenish yellow appearance. Later on, what will happen is, as this damage continues, that liver will become small, firm, and coarse, also micronodular. So initially liver is enlarged. ठीक है? It will be greenish yellow in color. Okay, as this damage continues, as it keeps on going for a longer period of time, what will happen is this liver will become smaller. Okay, later on liver becomes smaller, it will become firmer and coarsely micronodular. Okay, its structure will become very irregular as well. Now, specifically in primary biliary cirrhosis, one of the best diagnostic histological features that you can see and through which you can diagnose the patient. Essentially, if you look at that liver, let us suppose the features that I'm going to tell, if you see those features in a liver, then that is diagnostic basis for diagnosing primary biliary cirrhosis. मतलब वो liver में अगर patient का liver वैसा दिख रहा, then the patient has primary biliary cirrhosis. The main histological features that you see is chronic non-suppurative destructive cholangitis. You will see chronic non-suppurative destructive cholangitis. Okay, so specifically involving the intrahepatic ducts. So what does this mean? Chronic as in the damage is going for a long period of time. Non-suppurative as in there will be no pus, there will be inflammatory reaction but there will be no pus. And destructive cholangitis, cholangitis is essentially inflammation of your bile duct system. The whole biliary tree will become inflamed, and eventually it will lead to destruction of those biliary tree, all the biliary vessels. Okay, this is specifically targeting intrahepatic blood bile ducts. Okay, that will be basis of primary. अगर पेशेंट को प्राइमरी बिलियरी सिरोसिस है तो ये फीचर्स रहते. If they have secondary biliary cirrhosis, obstruction will occur in the extrahepatic bile ducts. ठीक है, and this prolonged obstruction mainly occurs because of prolonged obstruction. Because of prolonged obstruction, there will be bile stasis. Bile will start getting accumulated. There will be proliferation, dilation, and rupture of bile ductules. Those bile ductules, now production of bile is not stopping. Even though bile is getting blocked in your liver, production of bile is not stopping. And as such, what happens is at one point of time, because there is more and more bile getting accumulated, bile ductules will start rupturing. And obviously, your body will try to adapt by making more bile ductules. Even if it is not able to clear those bile ducts, it will start making more bile ductules. That is how you see proliferation. Okay, there will be rupture of bile ductus specifically in the portal area, and you will see small lakes of bile, pooling of bile that is occurring in the liver. Okay, as those bile ductules will rupture, you will start seeing bile, small lakes of bile that can be seen inside the liver. Okay, sometimes what happens is as it keeps on progressing, you will start seeing fibrosis and sometimes even micronodular cirrhosis. These are all changes that are occurring in secondary biliary cirrhosis. So once again, secondary biliary cirrhosis mein there is prolonged obstruction of extrahepatic bile ducts, okay, which will eventually produce bile stasis, and it will cause rupture of bile ducts, leading to proliferation and dilation of the bile duct itself in portal area specifically. And as these rupture, they will make small lakes of bile. Okay, Eventually, if this continues, it will lead to fibrosis of that area and micronodular cirrhosis. So that is biliary cirrhosis. Now, coming to pigment hemochromatosis or pigment cirrhosis. Pigment cirrhosis in hemochromatosis. Okay, so hemochromatosis is essentially an iron metabolism disorder. Okay, it is an iron storage disorder. More specifically, what is happening is iron is being accumulated inside the parenchymal cell more than normal. Okay, there is a certain amount of iron that gets stored inside your liver normally, but this is happening because of RBC breakdown. Okay, there are several reasons to hemochromatosis, but normally whenever RBCs are broken down, जो heme part रहता है, that will go up to your liver so that it can be metabolized. Now in hemochromatosis, there is excessive amount of iron that is getting accumulated inside parenchymal cells. So excess accumulation of iron in parenchymal cells of liver. Okay, and eventually what will happen is this will start causing tissue damage. It will also cause functional damage. So both structure and function of the organ which is which in which this is accumulating, iron is accumulating, those will start getting affected. Mainly liver, pancreas, heart, and pituitary gland. These four are affected more than others. Okay, liver, pancreas, heart, and pituitary gland. These four start accumulating the iron, and these four are affected more compared to the others. There are three specific features that you see in pigment cirrhosis. Those features, triad of features, we bolte हैं लोगों को. Those include micronodular pigment cirrhosis, micronodular pigment cirrhosis, diabetes mellitus, and skin pigmentation. ये लोगों की skin will be bronze in color. ठीक है. Now based on these two features, at least the last two features, based on diabetes and skin pigmentation, this type of cirrhosis or this disease itself is termed bronze diabetes. So it's called bronze diabetes. Okay, the patient will look something like this. ऐसा रहता है. So they literally become bronze in color. So specifically because of these two, diabetes mellitus and skin pigmentation. Right? Pigmentation. Okay. Now the cause of hemochromatosis is mainly because of improper loss of iron. So what will happen is inside your body, um, there is about 3 to 4 grams of iron. Okay, and it is maintained in such a way that intestinal mucosal absorption of iron is equal to its loss. Jitna bhi lose hota, normally in your blood there should be a maximum of about 3 to 4 grams of iron. Okay, and what happens is in your intestine this balance is able to be maintained. This 3 to 4 grams of iron is be able to maintain inside your body specifically because of intestines. What intestinal mucosa will do is it will absorb only that much amount of iron which is being excreted out, which is about 1 mg per day. So in your body through various mechanisms you excrete about 1 mg of iron per day, and your intestinal mucosa will absorb the same amount of iron, will reabsorb that iron from the food and so on and so forth, whatever, wherever it is absorbing from. Okay, so that a balance is maintained. Now 1 mg per day is normal in healthy men and it is about 1.5 mg per day in menstruating women. ठीक है, थोड़ा fluctuate होता value 0.1 0.2 ऐसा. In hemochromatosis what happens is this value, this absorption value will go up to 4 mg per day. So even if your body is excreting lower amount, your body is reabsorbing almost 4 times the normal amount. Okay? Normally for your body to maintain 3 to 4 grams of iron inside the body itself, Your intestines are making sure that how much ever iron is lost through various routes, that much is being absorbed. That value is close to about 1 mg per day. Matlab your intestines is reabsorbing about 1 mg per day of iron. In hemochromatosis, what happens is, because of various reasons, this what do you call, your intestines will start absorbing 4 mg per day. Okay? There will be excessive amount of serum iron. This will be very apparent whenever serum iron will become excessively high. Okay? This means that your intestines are absorbing way too much amount of iron. They are reabsorbing them back inside the body. This is mainly because of an autosomal recessive disorder. Not much you can do about it. Sometimes it can also be because of excessive accumulation of iron because of various reasons. Let's suppose erythropoiesis is ineffective, or hemoglobin synthesis is not effective, multiple blood transfusions kare, या enhanced iron absorption, especially due to alcohol consumption. All of these will also play a factor. It is not just an autosomal recessive disorder. In one way or the other, the amount of iron that is present inside your body is increasing. And what your body is doing is it is sending them to liver and other organs so that it can process that iron and it can store that iron. Okay? Now, what will happen is the most frequently affected organs, which are your liver and pancreas, so certain times the lesser extent, sometimes even your heart and endocrine glands are also affected. Sometimes synovium and testes are also affected. But in any case, as this pigment, iron pigment, starts getting accumulated in the hepatocytes, especially in the Kupffer cells, okay, what will happen is it will start depositing and it will start essentially damaging your periportal liver cells. पोर्टल ट्रायड के अतराफ जो लिवर सेल्स रहते, वहां पर पहले डैमेज स्टार्ट होता. ठीक है, द पोर्टल ट्रायड के अराउंड व्हाट यू कॉल थर्ड जोन, सॉरी द फर्स्ट जोन, वो एरिया के अराउंड पहले डैमेज स्टार्ट होता. एज डैमेज स्टार्ट्स इंक्रीजिंग, you will start seeing fibrosis in that area. ठीक है, specifically in the portal zone, you'll start seeing fibrosis. Eventually what will happen is there will be micronodular cirrhosis. ठीक है, as this damage keeps on going on, inflammation is occurring, and that inflammation is leading to micronodular cirrhosis, fibrosis and micronodular cirrhosis. And what will happen is, because of this, your liver will become chocolate brown in color. All right, liver becomes chocolate brown in color, and you will see that on the surface of the liver there is a lot of nodules present. So once again, what is happening because of this excess amount of iron? See, you understood that. I hope you understood that excess amount of iron is being absorbed inside your body, right? So this excess iron is sent to organs for processing. Okay? Specifically inside the liver. In liver, iron accumulates around the periportal cells, or accumulates in periportal cells. Okay, the cells that are present around your portal triad. Okay, and eventually it will lead to fibrosis. This fibrosis, as it keeps on going, will eventually cause micronodular cirrhosis. Okay, and eventually your liver will start looking chocolate brown in color. And nodular, the surface of the liver will become nodular. That is the progression of pigment cirrhosis that is occurring inside the liver. In pancreas, the pigmentation will be less intense compared to this. Okay? The deposits in the pancreas itself, they will produce interstitial fibrosis. You will see atrophy of parenchymal cells. Eventually, the alpha cells, beta cells, all of them are affected, and eventually it will lead to diabetes. That is how diabetes is developing in patients who have hemochromatosis. ठीक है, pancreas को जब pigmentation start होता, it will start specifically occurring in the parenchymal cells of your pancreas, your islets of Langerhans and all of those. And eventually what will happen is there will be a lot of interstitial fibrosis. Because of that interstitial fibrosis, these parenchymal cells are getting damaged, eventually leading to diabetes mellitus. Okay, that is pigment cirrhosis. Then coming to the next one, cirrhosis in Wilson's disease. So Wilson's disease is just like pigment cirrhosis or essentially like hemochromatosis. Hemochromatosis में iron metabolism का disorder था ना, Wilson's disease में copper metabolism का disorder है. This is essentially an autosomal recessive inherited disease. Okay, wherein what will happen is copper metabolism is not occurring and toxic accumulation of copper occurs. ठीक है, it will occur in liver, brain, eye, especially in liver. And whenever it is occurring inside liver, whenever copper starts getting accumulated inside the liver, it will lead to cirrhosis. So toxic accumulation of copper in liver leading to cirrhosis. Okay. Now, normally, what happens to copper is the dietary copper that you get from food and all, that is more than enough for body's requirement. So whatever excess amount of copper is there now, whatever you eat in a day, generally that has more than enough amount of copper for your daily needs. So there is very less chance that someone will be copper deficient. Okay. In certain cases, what will happen is your body, what it will do with this extra copper, it will get absorbed through your duodenum and your stomach, and it is transported to your liver through food. As you keep eating food, the copper which is present inside your food will get absorbed through duodenum and stomach. From the duodenum and stomach, it is being sent to your liver. Okay, so you are eating food, it is getting absorbed, the copper inside the food, let us suppose I draw Cu plus 2 ion like this. This is getting absorbed through your duodenum and to a certain extent your stomach as well. Okay, and it is reaching liver. ठीक है, liver में क्या होता, it gets incorporated into alpha 2 globulin. So last year अपन circulatory proteins के बारे में पढ़े थे. There are alpha globulins, beta globulins and gamma globulins, different proteins that are present inside your blood. Alpha 2 globulins are a type of globulin. ठीक है, now alpha 1 alpha globulin के subtypes रहते वो. So alpha 2 globulin में once it gets incorporated, it will become something called ceruloplasmin. Okay, this ceruloplasmin is excreted out of the bile. ठीक है, it is excreted out of the body in the form of bile or in bile, excreted in bile. That is how your body is normally dealing with extra amount of copper. In Wilson's disease, copper starts getting accumulated in liver rather than being excreted by liver. ठीक है, यहाँ पर it is stopping at this stage. Your copper will start, the copper that is being ingested is being accumulated inside the liver, wherein it is leading to cirrhosis. Okay, you will start seeing the liver showing steatosis or fatty changes. There will be acute and chronic hepatitis. Okay, active hepatitis, that too. The patient might have submassive liver necrosis. There will be macronodular cirrhosis. Okay, all of this is because of copper being accumulated, and usually they will accumulate in the periportal zones, in the periportal hepatocytes. वहाँ पे portal triad के आसपास के hepatocytes में जमा होता, and you will see that these cells, their cytoplasm will change color. You will see small reddish granules present inside their cytoplasm. So once again, in Wilson's disease, what is happening is normally whenever you eat food, the copper that is inside your food is being absorbed through your stomach and duodenum, which is being sent to your liver. Inside liver, the copper will attach to alpha 2 globulin, or liver is essentially combining alpha 2 globulin with copper, and it is excreting copper out of the body in the form of ceruloplasmin through bile. In Wilson's disease, this process is being stopped, where alpha 2 globulin is not incorporating with copper properly, and it is starting to get accumulated inside liver. The copper is getting accumulated inside liver, wherein it will slowly start causing fatty changes. Eventually, it will cause hepatitis, submassive necrosis, and macronodular cirrhosis. And you will see that The cells that are being affected, the periportal cells specifically that are being affected by cirrhosis, they will have small reddish granules present inside them, changing the color of the cytoplasm. Okay, so that is cirrhosis and Wilson's disease. Now we have three more types of small cirrhosis. There is cirrhosis as anti alpha 1 antitrypsin deficiency. We'll discuss them tomorrow. तीन बहुत छोटे हैं. We'll discuss that and tumors of liver tomorrow.